I was also heavily influenced when I got to Harvard. I started to read a lot about the propensity score.
Yeah.
And I met Rubin, who had an office in the building across the path really from mine.
Yeah.
And we started to communicate. Initially, Don was not very interested in what I was doing, so I was trying to sell him on it.
Uh-huh. You mean he
And
wasn't interested in the instrumental variable?
he sort of, it wasn't clear to him that it was relevant for what he was interested in. And I was trying to convince him that not only was it relevant, it was core.
Ah,
And, we started by core. I was only at Harvard for 2 years.
right. I saw that.
I went from 89, and then Hito came in 90. So we only overlapped for 1 year, but we became friends very quickly and
Mm,
started talking a lot together. We happened to be neighbors. We spent time together doing our laundry
mhm.
and hanging out in Littauer, the building there where the econ department is, where on any given day there aren't very many faculty members, but Hito and I would be there, and also Gary Chamberlain, who was
Yeah.
very, a mentor to us.
Mm,
And and anyway, I tried to convince Don that the IV idea was worthwhile. Was sort of I had to sell him on it, and I did that primarily through my draft lottery example,
mm.
which he found compelling. And Hito and I, in the meantime, we were grappling with the issue of what can you learn from instrumental variables in the Rubin world.
Mm.
And I had actually not sort of embraced the Rubin world at Princeton. I didn't really know about it. It was Jamie Robbins, who's a biostatistician at Harvard.
You mean when you say the Rubin world, you mean
Potential outcomes,
potential
Y1,
outcome model?
Y0, with no restrictions, no regression in between you and the outcomes.
Right.
And, that the goal is an average causal effect.
Mm.
And in terms of those unrestricted potential out, Heckman would say, oh, well, that's all over econometrics, that's in Roy and so on. And that might be true, but it wasn't the predominant paradigm.
Right.
And the the focus in econometrics was more on modeling that outcome process.
Right.
And then
Right.
the assignment is some latent index, but that's really not the focus.
Right.
And Jamie pushed me to start reading what Don's work, which by then was quite voluminous.
Hmm.
And I started thinking more about that. And Hito and I had also kind of gravitated to that ourselves. And we were aware that there was kind of no good theorem on what instrumental variables does
Uh-huh.
in that world. And we had a partial